Okay, so remember from what we were just talking about, the product rule here, we're going to have 4 to the 2 times 4 to the 3 is going to give us 4 to the 5. Now, if you know how to use your calculator, again, what we're talking about here is there is a button. It either looks like a little hat, sometimes it's X to the Y, sometimes it's literally just an exponent button that you have. EXP is not the button that you want. Okay, EXP is a different operation on the calculator. So you want to be able to get 1024 for that question. Okay, here, same thing. This is going to be 5 minus 2, which gives us 3. And now 7 to the exponent 3 is going to give us 343. All right, so now let's look at another rule. Okay, so here we've got power of a power. So this is a little bit different. This is when a question looks like this, and we've got an exponent on another exponent. Okay, so what we're talking about here is if we've got something like 5 times 5. Now I'm going to put big brackets like this, because now I've got to do that 3 times. But those big brackets actually don't do anything to the question, other than make it look a little more confusing. But if we look at this, we've got 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, 6 times. So this is 5 to the 6. Well, we can do the same thing here. We've got 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. Now we have to square that, so we're timesing that by 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. Well, that's 10 to the 8. It's 10 8 times. Now, finally, I'm not going to write all these ones out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write it out like this. K to the 3 times K to the 3. Well, we know that we could add those. So I'm going to write them all out like this, because we could add all of these exponents. They all have a common base. They're all product rule. Okay, so we could go 3 plus 3 is 6. So now we've got K to the 6 times K to the 3. Well, plus 3 more is 9. Then we've got K to the 9 times K to the 3. Well, that's 12. So we can actually look at that and say, well, this is K to the 15. Okay, so that's using product rule to show the same thing. So in general, so we're going to do a general rule again. For power of a power, so we've done quotient rule, we've done product rule. For power of a power, what we're going to have is a to the n to the m is equal to a to the m times m. Okay, so we're just multiplying our two exponents together. All right, so let's try a few examples here. So this is kind of putting everything together. So it says simplify using exponent rules and then evaluate. So we need to get one exponent and then evaluate. So here we can do it in 2 steps. So we could do 8 plus 5 first and get 13, but I'm going to leave it alone, okay, because I want to just make it a little easier to look at. Divided by, this is going to be 2 to the 12. Well, 8 plus 5 is 13, minus 12 is 1. This is just 2 to the 1. Okay, so if you evaluated first, you would get big, huge numbers and might make a mistake. If you do your exponent rules or exponent laws, it's going to be a lot easier. Okay, so I want you to get in the habit of using exponent laws first and then evaluating. This would be a 2-mark question, so you'd get 1 mark for this, and then 1 mark for saying this is equal to 2. Typically, it wouldn't be 2 to the 1, but you need to understand that. Okay, so the next example says, simplify each algebraic expression applying the exponent laws. So we're just making these go down to 1 exponent. Okay, we want to have some coefficient and 1 exponent. So here, we're going to have y, and then 3 plus 5, so y to the 8. Okay, it's multiplication. Here we're dividing. Well, I'm going to divide my numbers first. If there's ever a number out there, we can always divide those first. So 6 divided by 3 gives me 2. And then I've got p to the 7 divided by p to the 3. Well, that's just 7 minus 3. So that gives me 4. Here I'm multiplying. I'm going to do my a's. 2 plus 6 gives me 8. And then I'm going to look at my b's. Okay? 3 plus 4 gives me 7. And I'm all done. I can't put a and b together. Okay, just like in the last question, we couldn't put the numbers together with the letters. Okay, here, this is a big mistake that people make. So you gotta make sure that this 3 goes to everything. It's gonna go to the 3, it's gonna go to the x, and it's gonna go to the y. Okay, now I'm gonna erase those arrows. 3 to the 3 is 3 times 3 times 3. So that's 27. That's the thing that most people miss. A lot of people actually get x to the 6, y to the 12, but they miss that 3 to the 3 at the start. Don't forget, it applies to everything in the brackets. Okay, 2 more. So this first one, we can look at this and just do the top, the bottom, and then put them together. Okay, now I put that 1 there, but we can erase it. It doesn't actually matter. We've got negative 2 times 8 gives me negative 16. Now I can do my x's. We get 3. My y's, there's 7 of them. 5 plus 2 is 7. Divided by, don't forget to put that 2 on the 4, so we get 16. And then we get x squared, y to the 6. And now we just have to divide the numbers. First it's going to be a negative. Negative 16 divided by 16 is negative 1, so we can just put that negative there. Then we're going to have 1x left and 1y, because 3 minus 2 is 1, 7 minus 6 is 1. All right, now last but not least, if I look at this question, the reason I'm showing you this question is if you were doing it the way we were taught, you're going to get x to the 3, 7 minus 4 is 3, y squared, and then z to the negative 5. Well, a lot of questions, what they'll do is they'll ask you actually to put this as a positive exponent. So if this was a positive exponent, that means that this is wrong. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to choose wherever the number is greater and subtract that direction. So here I'm subtracting down. Here I'm subtracting down. There's a 1 here. Here I would be subtracting up. So if it looks like a fraction, this would become x to the 3, y squared, but then I would be over z to the 5. 9 minus 4 is 5. Okay, and that eliminates any negative numbers. It eliminates any negative exponents, and it's just a little easier to look at. Okay, the questions for this are on page 126, C1, C2, number 1 to 8, 9, A, D, G. So questions A, D, and G, and then number 14.